How am I going to pull this off without blowing the budget? If you've ever thought that, you're not alone. Creating eye-catching pop-ups, brand activations and events can be tricky, and we don't have endless resources to do it. So we need to be really strategic in finding ways to maximize what we can get for our budget without taking away the impact that we want to deliver. If you don't know me already, my name's Terry, and I've been delivering custom builds for brands and agencies for over 15 years now. And I want to make your pop-up, brand activation or experiential event as epic as it can be and make the process of getting you there as simple as possible. So let me tell you a story about one of our clients. And for the sake of this video, let's just say her name's Sarah. Sarah's a producer for a high-profile luxury skincare brand. And she came to us with a big vision, but a not so big budget. Sound familiar? Her challenge wasn't just about making the activation look amazing. It was about maintaining the brand's premium image while working within the constraints of the project. By focusing on smart decisions, we were able to deliver a show-stopping result on time and within budget. If you've ever faced the pressure of delivering a custom build, you'll know the stress of balancing creativity, quality, and cost. So to help you with this, today, I'm going to share with you my 5 top tips to save money on your custom build when you're working with a tight budget. Let's get into it. Tip number 1 is working with standard material sizes. This is one of the simplest, most effective ways to save money. A lot of the time, small adjustments to the dimensions of your overall project can make a huge difference. It might only be 5 or 10 centimeters, but you can start to save some dollars without making any huge impact on the overall design. So let's talk through an example. If you didn't already know this, a standard sheet size, typically speaking, is going to be 2.4 meters long by 1.2 meters wide. And when I talk about sheet material, I'm talking about stuff like plywood, particle board, MDF, polystyrene, sign board, all those types of products. And this standard sheet size has been chosen for 2 very specific reasons. The first one is that this is the biggest size an adult can maneuver on their own without the assistance of anyone else. Have you ever tried to pick up a box that wasn't necessarily that big or heavy, it was just a really awkward size which made it really difficult to carry? Well, this is exactly what the manufacturers are trying to avoid. Sheets can be picked up and rolled onto their side so that the person carrying it can get a hand underneath and on top of the sheet, meaning they're able to work with these sheets on their own. The second reason this size is really good is due to weight. Most common sheet materials that are 2.4 meters by 1.2 meters are generally going to weigh somewhere between 15 and 35 kilos. And once we're getting up to the 35 kilo range, this is probably the maximum anyone should be lifting on their own. And obviously, depending on the type of material and the thickness of the sheet, these weights are going to vary. Now, there are certain material types that do come in standard sheet sizes bigger than what I've just spoken about. However, if your design requires this, these sheets are now going to take 2 people to work with, and this is going to increase your labor costs. The other thing to consider is if your sheets aren't available in those bigger sizes, your custom builders now need to join sheets together. And this is going to add to the labor cost as well, especially if you're going for a seamless look and you want those joints to disappear. Long story short, for example, if you've designed a wall that's 2.5 meters high and you bring that down to 2.4, this is going to be a good money saver for you. Tip number 2 is exploring alternative finishes. Most of the time, there's more than one way to get a similar look. Let's take a gold mirror finish, for example. 3 of the many ways you could tackle this is using glass mirror, using a gold mirror laminate, or using a gold mirror acrylic. And they've all got their pros and cons. Glass mirror is going to be the most expensive, but it's going to give you the truest reflection. It's also going to be the hardest wearing. The gold mirror laminate is going to be a little bit cheaper. It's still going to look nice, but just not as good as the glass. And the acrylic is going to be cheaper again, but there's a chance that you're going to get a slight waviness in that reflection. It's also not going to be as hard wearing as the glass. You just need to decide which one's going to give you the right look at the price point that's going to suit your budget. Tip number 3 is simplifying the design. Apart from removing elements of your design entirely, this tip is probably the one that's going to have the biggest impact on the overall design. While curves and intricate details might look really good, they can eat away your budget really quickly. Reducing the number of complex features can significantly reduce cost. Now, I'm not saying get rid of all of them, but it's good to explore the areas where we can simplify things without having a major impact on the overall design. This is going to make your custom builder easier and cheaper to fabricate. Tip number 4 is considering higher options. Now, the downside to hiring stuff instead of getting it custom made is that you're probably never going to get exactly what you want. But if you can find something that's going to work and custom brand it to fit the look and feel of the rest of your design, you're onto a good money saving solution here. One of my businesses, Peacock Retail, specializes in this exact scenario. So if you want to check them out, I'll put a link to them in the description below. Tip number 5 is prioritizing the budget. When budgets are tight, prioritization is key. We want to clearly define what elements of the design are must-haves and what elements are nice-to-haves. This is going to allow you to make really effective decisions on the areas where you really want to spend your budget versus some good spots for some cost savings. Delivering custom builds with tight budgets doesn't need to be about cutting things out of your design. It's about making smart, intentional decisions so that you can focus on what matters most. By looking at your projects through these 5 lenses, you can confidently deliver a great pop-up brand activation or experiential event that aligns with your vision and your budget. It's not an exercise of cutting costs, it's a process of maximising what we can do within the limitations we have to work with. I hope this can help with your next project, and if you want to hand with any of this, give us a shout. But until then, keep the awesome ideas coming, and I'll catch you in the next one.